Thursday, October 16th, Sandridge School District 172 Committee of the Whole is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Dr. Stacy McJunkins, Mrs. Snelling here, Mrs. Kruger,
Here.
Mrs. Newton,
Here.
Mrs. Gray, Mr. Walker,
Here.
President Jenkins Brown.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Thank you. We call to order. All right, first on our agenda is the superintendent report. Dr. Knowles.
Thank you, board. I need 1 second. Can we move on to the principal's report?
Okay. All right, let's go to the next on the agenda, which is the principal report. Oh, did you? Okay.
I found it.
We're not- okay.
I found it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was strange, David. Okay.
Okay, good evening, board. So my first update is in regards to the Illinois School Report Card. Sandridge has received the 2025 preliminary Illinois School Report Card, and at this time, the district's summative designation is targeted. The designation indicates that one or more student subgroups are performing at or below the level of the lowest performing 5% of schools in the state as determined by the Illinois State Board of Education. So just an overview of understanding what these summative designations mean. And Mr. Cosina is gonna go into more detail, so please know that I'm not gonna steal your thunder. It will be, I'm sorry, we will go into detail regarding how we were assigned this rating. But the Illinois State Board of Education assigns each public school one of 4 designations based on academic indicators, student success metrics, and school quality factors. Exemplary schools are schools that are performing in the top 10% statewide with no underperforming subgroups. Commendable schools are schools that are not in the top 10% but without underperforming subgroups, and targeted are schools with one or more underperforming subgroups. When I first started here, approximately, I guess that was 4 years ago, we were ranked as a comprehensive school, and we were deemed as a school performing in the lowest 5% statewide. A targeted designation indicates that while the district demonstrates areas of strength, certain subgroups such as students with disabilities or English language learners or low-income students require focused interventions and continued support to meet state standards. As an administrative team, we try to meet on a weekly basis, and sometimes things are going on in the building and there may be a large number of absences, but for the most part, we are sticking to meeting as a team once a week. One of the areas that is killing Sandridge School District 172, the preliminary data shows that approximately 35% of Sandridge students are chronically truant, meaning they have missed more than 10% of school days, whether excused or unexcused. Now, in analyzing the data, and we need to take a deeper dive, we've noticed that students, let's say in 5th through 8th grade or 6th through 8th grade, they come to school. And there is a belief that those students are coming to school because they're a little more independent, where you can get yourself up, ready for school, put your clothes on, and walk to the school bus, or if a parent is bringing them to school, it's easier for the older kids. Little kids are very tardy. In our handbook, and I think this might be aligned with the Illinois School Code, when they arrive, I believe, Ms. Logan, isn't it after 8:30 that they lose half a day? So we start at 7:45, and you are expected to be in your seat and ready to learn. So when parents arrive at 8:35, 8:40, 8:45, whether it is excused or not, you're losing 1/2 of the day. So students with high absenteeism often exhibit lower academic achievement in core areas, English, math, science, and social studies. It's not that they can't do it. You are not prepared for learning or to participate or engage if you are not here to learn. So, in the district and statewide data demonstrates that there is a strong correlation among attendance, behavior, and student performance. So I've already talked about the first one, attendance. It's just common sense. You can't learn if you're not here to learn. Or if a student misses 3, 4, 5, or X number of days from school, and then you come back, you have missed core instruction, and it's sometimes hard for kids to catch up. Behavioral concerns tend to rise as attendance decreases due to disengagement and missed instruction. And then academic grades decline when students are not consistently present to receive instruction and feedback. So for us, part of our goals this year are improving student attendance, reducing truancy. We know that those areas are essential toward improving student learning outcomes and the district's overall summative designation. Last year, we noticed over the summer, we were analyzing data, and we learned very quickly that there was grade inflation. There is no way that you can miss 100 days from school, 90 days from school, and you still have A's, B's, and C's. So I gave teachers a directive. We need to get parents' attention. And so you don't give mercy grades because you don't want to deal with maybe a parent that might be confrontational, or sometimes you feel that it's not the student's fault that they're not coming to school and you don't want to penalize children. But when we have conversations about retention and why are these scores so low, or why are we staying stagnant, we're moving, and in some areas slightly decreasing, I have directed teachers to grade students according to the work that they do. If you're absent, you're missing bell ringers, you're missing homework. So we are working with our teachers. One teacher shared with me, she said, well, if kids are not here, it's not their fault. I give them 50%, and it's still an F. No, it's not, because if you miss 5 days and you have all zeros, or 50% in that particular case, and you come the next week and let's say you have 80%, you are still going to earn a passing grade, and it's giving a false sense of success. We're having a difficult time with parents in K through 8 understanding that some students need intensive interventions as evidenced by summer school. In year 1, we had a modified version of summer school. In year 2, we had an excellent model for summer school, and in year 2, we had an excellent model for summer school. But then 80 kids showed up, the weather got warm, we have air conditioning, and they said, well, they're going to the beach. Summer is to be enjoyed. Summer is to be enjoyed once you've done what you need to do. And so we're really working on a plan. So what are the next steps and collaborative support? The district is currently collaborating with Mr. Podgorski and the South Cook Intermediate Service Center to address attendance and truancy concerns. The plan includes reviewing chronic absenteeism data to identify high-risk groups, developing intervention strategies aligned with the State Board of Education's guidelines and the Illinois School Code, implementing family outreach programs to address attendance barriers, monitoring attendance patterns weekly with administrative and social work follow-up, sending out 5-day notices, 10-day notices, and then the district's goal is to ensure that every student is present, engaged, and achieving at high levels. And I'll give you more information, not in this Friday's update, but in the next update. Ms. Polk, they disaggregated the data and they established the win groups, what I need now, and when you put students in like groups with similar scores, the teachers are able to utilize the intervention time to really support the students. And correct me if I'm wrong, the specials teachers, that if a teacher is free during a certain period, they have been assigned to work with the intervention groups. Are there any questions about that first part of the report? Okay, hearing none, I'll continue. And tonight, Janelle Kruger is the board's delegate for the Illinois Association of School Boards, and tonight the board will have a discussion on the IASB Delegate Assembly and Resolutions. At the October 16, 2025 Board of Education meeting, the board will vote to authorize the appointed delegate, which is Ms. Kruger, to represent Sandridge School District 172 at the IASB Delegate Assembly. The delegate will vote on behalf of the board regarding the resolutions committee report chaired by Tracy Sayre, and they have on their consent agenda for the 2025 resolution, school bus safety funding, submitted by Sycamore Consolidated Unit District 427. This resolution urges the Illinois General Assembly and the governor to enact legislation establishing a designated school bus safety equipment grant within the state's Board of Education transportation line. This would provide financial assistance subject to appropriation for the verified incremental cost of factory installed 3-point seatbelt systems on new school buses. So if you've ever ridden on a school buses, they say that you can have up to 75 students on a bus, and I have administrators that ride the buses, and they're saying, you know, Dr. Knowles, that's too many kids, but more importantly, they don't have seatbelts on those buses. So with this resolution, Sycamore District 427 is asking the General Assembly to allocate funding. For the Illinois Association of School Boards recommendation, they're asking school boards, as part of your discussion, to adopt the IASB Resolutions Committee recommends adoption of this resolution. If not pulled for discussion, it will be placed on the consent agenda for a single vote, and adoption would represent IASB's endorsement of state financial support for enhanced school bus safety measures. Other IASB policy areas and advocacy topics include continue to support resolutions and positions emphasizing they are encouraging boards to support local control, supporting school boards' authority to determine curriculum and policies, to mandate reform, promoting reduced unfunded mandates and increased local flexibility. So every year, the Illinois State Board of Education gives school districts mandates. You must incorporate this into the curriculum. You must offer gym 5 days a week. And so, through the Illinois Association of School Boards, they are saying, okay, if the State Board of Education is going to mandate certain things, they're asking for local autonomy and control to say, if you're not going to put money towards these mandates, then the school should be able to modify the mandate to meet their financial situation. And for educational improvement, they are asking that school boards support trauma-informed practices, social emotional learning, and student safety initiatives. In recent, I would say since the pandemic, we've learned a lot about childhood trauma and how that impacts a student's ability to learn. So tonight, the recommended board motion template would say something like, and I'll give this to Ms. Jenkins Brown, I move that Sandridge School District 172 Board of Education authorize its delegate, Janelle Kruger, to vote on behalf of the board at the 2025 Illinois Association of School Boards Delegate Assembly in accordance with the recommendations of the IASB Resolutions Committee and the consensus of the board. And then there was an alternate motion if discretion desired. So if you don't want to support the things that they are recommending that you do support, you can say that I move that Sandridge School District 172 Board of Education authorize its delegate, Janelle Kruger, to exercise discretion in voting on behalf of the board at the 2025 IASB Delegate Assembly, considering board discussion and any debate that may occur at the assembly. and Janelle will go into this more deeply if you have questions. But the only thing seems like that's on the agenda is voting on those seat belts and funding.
The changes to the Constitution also.
Okay. Any questions regarding that?
No questions? All right. Next on the agenda now is the principal report. Ms. Pope.
Good evening.
And good evening to you.
Nope. Battery.
You need another mic?
Am I loud enough, or should I get a mic? Okay, perfect. So good.
Then we have some people grilling talk.
All right. All right. Good evening, school board members and community. I am here to present the principal's report for this month. So right now we're at about 422 students. We are still receiving new registrations. In fact, we just had a family just yesterday coming in. So we are increasing. And as we begin our second quarter, we wanted to focus on the major parts of our school improvement plan, which is to increase growth in math, reading, and to decrease our chronic absenteeism numbers. So, as you know, thank you. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. As you know, behavior is not a part of our school improvement plan. However, we know it's very important in maintaining order in the classroom and to encourage optimal learning. So right now we're looking at the trends that's going on in the month of October. And unfortunately, our students have a bit of an issue with keeping their hands to themselves. This can range from mostly friends kind of doing little irritating things to each other. One slaps someone on the back of the neck. Oh, I'm laughing about it, but it's not funny because the other student is then hurt. So it's been a lot of restorative conversations and conflict management. The way to resolve a conflict is not to use your hands. It's to speak. It's to talk about it. It's to get away from the person and to report it to teachers. So we're trying to make sure that the students understand that they have a safe place to go to in the staff, and that that's the way that things should be handled and not amongst themselves with physical issues. So we've had restorative conferences with our assistant principal and our social worker to support our social emotional learning as well. We have also created some behavior intervention plans for students that are in need, and we are monitoring those alongside the MTSS data for data and attendance. And then we also have our first quarter incentive coming up, and that's going to be gym and tech time. We found that the students just like to have that extra free time to do what they like, and so we have a list of about 72 students who have earned their PBIS reward. This 72 also includes attendance measures, because we say anyone with more than 3 days of absences will not be able to participate. It hurts because we know we're in elementary school and we know that students aren't driving themselves to school. But we want that conversation to be, hey mom, I couldn't participate in the fun activity this month because I haven't been getting to school on time. Can you please take me to school? And we're hoping that that drives those parents into getting into our building. Yes.
Can you give some examples of restorative consequences?
So, for instance, if there's a situation with two students, Mr. Vanderkaal may pull them together, let both of them give their side of the story, because we find that that's very important. A lot of times our students don't feel like they're heard. So once they have an opportunity to say their sides, then Mr. Vanderkaal then kind of goes through a system of what could you have done differently? What was the problem here? Are you guys friends? Do you want to be friends? Because we also teach that you don't have to be friends with everyone. We do have to respect everyone. And then we document those as the first layer of support. If that continues to happen, then we can monitor to see if this is a bullying situation. Is this something that maybe down the line we may need to move them from different homerooms and things of that nature? And sometimes they can be between 1 or 2 students, but they can also be larger groups, especially in our junior high where we have a lot of gossip and things that go on even outside of school.
Has there been any documentation sent to parents to explain this process and to explain the restorative consequences?
Well, we call the parents, but we can definitely put something in writing and send it home as well. So I will talk to him about that in our next meeting. Okay, so absences. So any student, again, with 3 or more days of absences have received letters home, and they possibly may be in the mail right now. And then we're also trying to attack it in a positive way as well. So we have assigned attendance champions, which are administrators and other secretaries and staff, to walk around and make sure that those students that we are thinking are not here, or say for instance, if they're already on our chronic absenteeism list, we want to go into those classrooms and we want to high five them. We want to give them hugs. We want to say, hey, we're so happy that you're here. We want them to know that there's a connection to the school, and there are people who are watching, and there are people who are expecting them to be here every day. We also are acknowledging classrooms with the highest average daily attendance, with small prizes, things off of the prize card for the Wildcat Cash and things of that nature. And then again, including those attendance goals in our PBIS incentives. Last year, we did try to do that, and one of our teachers made the comment, hey, it's not their fault. You know, we're going to go ahead and let them do the incentive. And that has been very clearly stated that this year we are not doing that. We need to follow the rules and regulations because this is part of our metrics on how we're trying to get better. Next slide. So with our grades, so this is something new that we're doing, and I'm actually quite excited about it. So like Dr. Knowles was talking about with our intervention periods, I feel as though since the pandemic, students have it in their head that they're just automatically going to pass, because for a while that was the state mandate. However, it is not any longer. And we want the students to understand that these are your grades. You're not in school for us, you're in school for you. And when you do get into the workforce, you're going to have to know how to read. You're going to have to know how to count. So these things are foundational. Whether you decide to go to college or a trade school, you have to have an elementary education to be able to get to that high school education, which will get you a career. So we're doing goal setting with each of the students, whether you're in kindergarten or 8th grade, whether you're special ed or general ed. And we have allowed for students to go into their Infinite Campus accounts, look at their grades, actually write them down, talk about what did you do well, what did you want to change in the quarter. And then we're going to periodically look at this at progress reports and at the end of the quarter. Their sheets they're keeping the whole year, and we're just updating. We do this for behavior and attendance. So not only do we know as administrators, the teachers know, the students know, and the parents will know as well, because these are going to be sent home and required to be signed, which also lets the parents know the level of academics that they are engaging in. For instance, when we have students come to the main office and write incident reports, some of their writing is atrocious. It needs some practice. Some students are still giving us lowercase I when you're talking about yourself. So those type of things, when that's going home to the parent and they have to sign it, and the goals are written in their own words and with their own handwriting, I hope that some of the parents are like, this is what you're doing at school? Let's practice this. I even have some students who I notice who have major issues. When they write an incident report, if they're misspelling words, I have them copy some of the words over and over again just to be able to get that spelling correctly in their head. So we're trying to attack it in all ways. If you're coming down here for behavior, guess what? We're also going to be talking academics.
So quick question regarding the goal setting. So you're saying that all students will meet with their homeroom teacher, and those goals are inputted into a system of some sort?
Well, right now they're not. They're on paper, but we do have them filed.
Okay. And will the parents have access to those goals? And the reason why I'm asking you that is because I'm hoping that as the students write goals, the goals that they can improve on, and goals that they can continue.
Absolutely.
So those that they can improve on will be goals, hopefully, that the parents will look at and say, whoa, this is a goal, and help them attain those goals.
Absolutely.
So,
At one of my parent advisory meetings, I would like to also teach the parents how to do that.
Okay.
And be able to take that information from that goal setting to be able to apply it even in school and outside of school. One of the classrooms that I visited today, fourth grade classroom, they were so excited. They made 4 main goals, and everyone was just like, the energy in the room was contagious. And that's how we want our students to feel about their own learning. And then we also started our WIN groups today. So it was our very first day. In each grade band, we have about 8 teachers, and they're able to group their students according to their iReady scores. So all groups are from high to low, and you're grouped in similar areas, and they are each color-coded by Roy Jabiv. Again, I'm a science teacher. I can't get away from that part. And so the teachers have access to their scores and can dig into the iReady program to be able to prescribe them exactly what they need for their intervention time. We're going to do 3 weeks of math and then 3 weeks of reading, assess, and then possibly change the groups if necessary. And for our attendance winner for the month of September, it was 7th grade with 98% of students present for the month. We also hosted our parent-teacher conference on Tuesday, October 14th, and we had 244 families that visited the classrooms and 100% of teaching staff in attendance. We had a cupcake and canvas event hosted by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and it was a wonderful event. I still have my little canvas of my paint. And it was also nice because we were able to sign up more families for our Lunch Buddies program. And in fact, one of our Lunch Buddies just received their first visit today during their lunch period, which was pretty amazing. I believe he was a firefighter. And he's working with a 6th grade student. And so they'll be meeting during lunch and connecting and being another positive person that you can look forward to seeing in the community. And we have some upcoming events. So right now we're actually playing Washington Elementary School. Our girls are playing now. Last time we checked the score, the other school was winning, but only by 2 points. So hopefully, if they're still playing, we have an opportunity to get down there and see. We also have a talent show. Ms. Hines and Ms. Lloyd are hosting that tomorrow for our drama club. We have an anti-bullying awareness day where all students are encouraged to wear orange on October 23rd. We have the PTA Trunk or Treat, which will be Friday, October 24th. And then we have a PLC early release day on the 29th. And I wanted to quickly give a big shout out to our student council officers. They were just recently voted in. So Ms. Eden Ward from 8th grade will be president. Madeline Vesquez will be our vice president. And the secretary is Yaneli Marquez. And that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Just a comment. I really, our new director of athletics and the coaching staff, they are really pouring into the children. And one of the things that I love that Ms. Polk has done, in alignment with our collective bargaining agreement, all teachers are assigned to work various games, but now we have assigned all personnel who work in the school to work the game so that our students can see that they are supported. If you go sometimes to the games, especially girls' games, the stands are not as full as we would like to see them. So we want our kids to know that they are supported. And one of the basketball moms, Ms. Erica, has volunteered to step up. Just sitting in the stands as a parent, she noticed like some of the kids don't have bottled water, and kids are opening their mouth and sharing, and so she's going to step up and take the lead in making sure that whatever the kids need, that they have, kind of like a teen mom or a room mom, but she will be helping Mr. Phillips and Coach Harvey, but their energy is contagious.
Absolutely. And we just finished, absolutely, let's give it up. And we just finished an athletic fundraiser for the world's finest chocolates. If you are interested, we still have some boxes left over. They're $1 each. And then we also have the taffy apples going on, so please make sure you buy some of those for PTA.
Very quickly, that Trustee Hurt gave, that he gave to Roosevelt. Roosevelt, can you read that?
The bike.
Or give that to her, that we're gonna post online.
Thank you. All right, so this is the Glow Bike Ride. Anyone under 16 must be accompanied by an adult. Glow gear for those who register only. Registrars should arrive between 5:30 and 6 p.m. to receive glow gear. Keep an eye out for weather and dress accordingly. And we're going to be starting at Lakeview Park in the parking lot, and the bike lineup is between 6:30 and 7 p.m. This event will be held on October 25th, Saturday at 6:30 to 8. And that's from Trustee Brian Hurt. So anyone who wants to ride a bike, I'm gonna try. I haven't rode a bike in a long time, but it sounds like a fun time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. All right, next on our agenda, the Associate Superintendent's Report. Mr. Osina.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Board. So tonight I'm going to try to be brief because next month when I go over the data, it's going to be a little more extensive. But I just wanted to give you an overview, a little bit about where we're at with iReady for the fall diagnostic. So the state always wants you above 95% with state participation in all assessments. So we hit that target with all the students. It's a little bit deceiving because if we don't hit it and the student comes in late, when they log in iReady for the first time, they have to do it anyway, so they can't escape this assessment. Whereas some of the other state assessments, if they're not here, we sometimes, within the window, we can't always catch up with them. So we always get their results for them, so we know what we need to do for them. So the data used from iReady is gonna, and I'm really excited about the work Ms. Polk's done because she's been very aggressive with actually coming up with a tiered approach for the win time, which is crucial for us because one teacher cannot, it's possible, we talk about differentiation, but when you have that many different skill sets in a classroom, it is hard to really be able to dig into the kids that specifically need certain things. So it's informing our MTSS. It's actually given us a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 intervention placement levels. It's contributing to students actually developing their own goals in conjunction with the teacher, which is part of our school improvement plan. And also this year, the leadership for the evaluation committee, the para committee, has agreed that a teacher, if they choose to, can select only iReady for their growth model, for their student growth in their evaluation, which is 30% of their overall evaluation. So one thing that in my past history, teachers always resisted that, attacking student data on assessments and having that weigh so heavily in their evaluation, but here that's not an issue for us, which speaks to our staff and I think overall the school community not trying to hide from what the data says, but actually wanting it to be part of what we're doing so that we can improve. Next slide. So here's just the overview by grade band. Reading completion, math completion, K through 2 was 98, 97, 3 through 5, 99, 99. Now this is a little bit, 6 through 8, some of the students had trouble figuring out how to do the iReady. And some of the new teachers to Sandridge had a little bit of difficulty. So that's why that number is a little bit lower. This was taken, since that time, all the students have taken the test. So we met our target above 95%, go ahead. So I tried to break this out. In the past, we've talked about iReady in 5 performance indicators, which used to be aligned to IAR. IAR has taken their performance levels and reduced them to 5 to 4, which makes more sense. iReady also presents it in 3 tiers, which is going to align perfectly with our win time. So that's how we're going to describe the information from now on. Of course, we want to see more green in our triangle, but we're not going to sugarcoat the data. We're just going to, this is what it is. This is what we need to do. We need to have all the students that need the tier 3 support with the teacher that can handle those needs and focus on those kids. So this is for our reading placement levels. We have students that are at risk of tier 3, which is 2 or more grade levels below. That's 52% of the students right now that took the test. I must just add this. We had a similar situation last year when they first came in and took the test. But as it goes through the year and they get reacclimated back to school, you start to see growth. Now, this year with win time, we're not just looking for typical growth, we're looking for what I already call stretch growth, so that they're stretching farther so that their IR scores get higher. Tier 2 is 1 grade level below, and then Tier 1 is either early on grade level or at grade level or above.
Do we know, for the at-risk for Tier 3, what grade levels that most of those children fall in?
Yeah, go to the next slide. So that's one step. I'll touch base on that in 1 second. But what this tells the teacher is exactly where the students are performing for all of the domains within reading. Now, as far as the grade level, when the teacher logs into iReady, they can see exactly by domain what grade level the student is at. For this specific chart, we see more green at the top. Those are more foundational level skills, so we have more students meeting there. But as we move to more complicated vocabulary acquisition, comprehension of literature, and then comprehending informational text, we see that we have more students below in those areas. So those students need more time and practice to get better at those things. Does that answer?
It does answer. Next question. So we started the iReady last year.
First year implementation last year,
So
yes.
have we compared the numbers or the statistics as to where we were last year versus this year, and then identified whatever gaps that are between the two?
So I've started that process, and I'm gonna hopefully have, the issue with it is that we look at it a snapshot each year. So what I'm doing is putting together cohorts by graduation year so that we can actually track cohorts of students moving through the process, because what I've noticed is that it looks very similar from fall to fall. But it's telling us that all of our students, when they start school each year, if they haven't gone to summer school, they're sort of behind. Way more behind than they're gonna show when they get to spring right before they take the IAR. So what we need to do is we need to look at it from a cohort perspective. Does that answer? It's just,
Yeah,
it's not there yet, but I am doing it.
Whatever gaps, I'm hoping that as we identify those gaps, we have a plan
Yes,
in place where we can attack those gaps this year.
yes,
So
that's,
so those gaps won't repeat next year.
right, and that is
Okay.
happening as of today with the win time. So we're much more targeted with the intervention time than we were in the past because of iReady.
Okay.
But I'll explain that a little. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is it possible that we can look at other schools that are K through 8 that have had successful summer school programs?
With summer school programs? Definitely. Go ahead.
We can, but it's not that our program was not successful. Last year, we had very small classroom sizes with 8 to 10 students or less, 1 teacher and 1 paraprofessional. The push has to come from the community or from parents wanting to send their children to summer school. So a lot of parents felt we would call we had so many people working that summer, and we spent probably $25,000 on our summer school program, and then you might have a teacher and a paraprofessional and 1 or 2 students. Everyone started off really strong on week 1. By the time we got to week 3, we went from maybe 90 students down to 25, and it was never the same 25 students. Parents, the reasons would say, it's 90 degrees, we're gonna go to the beach today, or he or she is staying with their cousins in the city. And so that's why now I'm telling teachers that as a parent, if my kid has A's, B's, and C's, I don't see the state of urgency for summer school. But if you really grade students according to what they're earning, the average parent, I would think, would say a D or an F. You have to go to summer school. And so we are trying to work with and get our parents on board, because when you look at this data, just to use one family as an example, we had a conference with a parent yesterday, and of course for confidentiality, I won't say the name. Parent registered in Stager for 3 weeks. Stager kicked the student out and said, you know what, you really live in Linwood. Parent says, you know what, she's been saying she's coming for, it's been about 5 weeks now, 4 weeks. Student still has not registered. And we called me, I said, please, whatever we are doing, we will stop. Whatever you need to get here, we will help you. But now my concern is, ma'am, we are in quarter 2, day 2. We're like, this is quarter 2, week 1. And so if you don't send your kids to school, they're never going to get out of the red or out of the yellow. Kids that you see in the green, for the most part, are kids who've been here since kindergarten, and kids who come to school, and kids who have supportive families. Kids in the yellow are getting here, and they have some levels of support. Kids in the red are the people you see in the parking lot at 8:45, the people who are putting their jobs over their children, in my opinion, coming to pick kids up. School is dismissed at 2:15, and if you have a dental appointment or a doctor's appointment, I understand an early dismissal, but some people come get kids at 1:50, 1:45 every day because they have to be at work, and they need to get them home because they don't have a way to get them home, or they're little kids and they want to drop them off at someone's home. So we are really fighting a battle to change not only our culture, but to partner with parents and to offer resources and support. So it wasn't that it wasn't successful, it's just that people just didn't come. They had different priorities.
Right, and I know we've talked about having, the tier 2 interventions with some of our other programs, maybe doing some kind of remote hybrid model, so that students, because they're bringing their Chromebooks home, can start working at home too, so that they can spend more time on the programs to help increase achievement.
But we did decide that no matter what, we are going to offer summer school this summer, and to add a carrot for children, if it's maybe 2 days a week that's intensive intervention, and maybe 1 day a week that is some kind of educational field trip. There are a few teachers took kids to the zoo, I think this was 2 years ago, and one parent didn't sign off on a permission slip, and the little girl was 6 years old, and I never forgot, she said, I have never been to the zoo. And she said, I really wanted to go on that field trip. And so just trying to find a way that if we can do some fun things with kids, then maybe they might want to, and then you have to be here for the whole week to do the field trip on the last day. If you come Monday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the trip is Thursday, maybe kids will come.
Yeah, I like that incentive. I like those incentives.
Okay, so here's similar for our math, and then if you could go to the next slide. This also shows that, not near enough students are at grade level. So more information and more correlation between iReady and IAR for the next meeting. Go ahead. So really our next steps, data review and continued analysis from the district school perspective, and also really grade level teams that are working hand in hand with the kids. That's where most of the work needs to happen, because if we do and we come up with the data and present it to them, it's not going to have the same impact that teachers working together to determine where the gaps are, as opposed to us telling them. Then communicating. We need our students and parents to understand this, and we need our parents' help to make sure that the students are engaging with this at home as well. Intervention groups, we had a target date of October 31st, but we're early on that, thanks to Ms. Polk's work, so we're excited about that. And then, the weekly tiered intervention support, we're gonna be monitoring that, and we're gonna be going into those win times to see not only what's happening, but also to help teachers and help the students with whatever they need. And then our next diagnostic will be in December window for the winter assessment. I think any more questions for me? I know that you have some more questions about the gaps, so I will get you more information with that. Okay, any other questions?
No, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Just one comment. Mr. Casina is also working with the South Cook Intermediate Service Center, and we have a person who is working with our district as part of the school improvement process. And with South Cook, they also have interventionists for the area of reading and math, and they will visit every single class and give you additional feedback on the quality of teaching that is occurring within the school.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, who will be presenting the Director of Student?
I will.
Okay, thank you so much. The Director of Student Support Services report.
Just some basic information. So the current numbers for the 25-26 school year at this time, we have in the Department for Student Support Services with IEPs, there are 69 students have individual education plans. Those plans range from, the majority of those students are speech only, but some of those students have learning disabilities and behavioral issues. Out of district, we have 17 students. And if you are placed out of district, it's because we cannot meet your needs. Maybe a student needs a one-on-one nurse. They may have intense needs where they need a psychologist, a social worker. In a smaller school district, we're part of the co-op, so that's where our students would go. We have 10 students that have 504 plans. A 504 plan is other health impaired, and we have 6 students that have initial evaluations where we're testing to determine if the students are eligible. It will be a team decision to determine if those students are eligible for services. I'm very pleased with the quality of the program. We have one program for early childhood, and if we get one more student, we will have an AM and a PM session. There's definitely an identified need in Linwood for preschool for all. Many children come to kindergarten, and the beginning or the foundation for kindergarten, you're teaching pre-kindergarten skills because kids may or may not know how to play nice, trying to get them to hold a pencil. By the time you come to kindergarten, in my opinion, you should know your government name, not your nickname. You should know your address, colors, numbers, and things of that nature. So if they open that grant back up, we definitely will apply for the preschool for all because our kids in the community really need that. And you were gonna say something?
Yeah, are there any additional programs that have been cut back because of either the government shutdown or just cutbacks?
No.
From the administrative.
At this particular time, the district cut all school transportation, and we are offering transportation as mandated by the State Board of Education for children who reside 1.5 miles or more. Because we do recognize that this is a hazardous route, we offer transportation at cost, and we significantly reduce the cost, $100 for the first student, and then $25 for every student thereafter. At this particular time, I have 2 students who walk, and that's my parents' choice. The parents bring them to school, but they're older kids, and on the nice days, they allow them to walk home. If any parent says, I cannot afford the $100, I can't just take their word for it. We ask them to bring in their W-2s or proof of financial assistance, and then we've set up a payment plan for $12 a month. And in a couple of cases where the parents just really couldn't come up with the $12, we were able to work with those families. And so at this particular time, there's only one parent, and pretty much she drives her student to and from school. But if any parent needs the support, we want the students to be able to get here. That was the only program that was cut. Transportation would have put us into deficit spending, and we were able to quickly see that with our transportation program, we were not seeing a return on investment as far as students coming to school. The first year, a few more students came, and then they started being late again, and parents were still bringing them to school.
you. Who will be, delivering the finance department?
That will be me.
Okay.
Small school district, many hats, it's okay. Okay, board, tonight you will take action on, approving the bills totaling $195,559.86. We have moved to a new program, Skyward, and Ms. White was able to get the detailed report for what we are spending. Our goal is to spend the money on students and teachers, and to do that at the beginning of the school year. So if you have any questions about all of the bills are in there, and the money is spent on our students.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the personnel update. I assume you'll be.
Yes, hey, I'm earning my salary. And so for the personnel report, I'm also over HR. We had lost 2 people on our staff. Our nurse abruptly resigned yesterday, and she said, I just can't do this anymore. And sometimes you have to accept a person's decision. She was such a wonderful and amazing young lady, and we were just very sad to see her go. But when you work in a school, you have to understand that working in a school, it may be different than in a hospital. And so just very quickly, and I know we may have people online, I just ask all people to remember that no matter what position someone has in a school, that people are human. And so we have about 50 students that will not be able to return on Monday because they have not fulfilled their physical, having a physical. And so as the nurse is calling, people are not being very kind in their words. And so I try to be kind with my words, I try to be intentional, but I'm 55 years old and I work in a school. So she's gonna go back into the private industry. And then Mr. Reese was one of our paraprofessionals. Mr. Reese had a certification as a para in the city of Chicago, but it was different than in the suburban area. And so Mr. Reese decided to look for another position. He is so wonderful. He went on a job interview yesterday, and he was hired. In the meantime, we're going to move some staff around, and this evening I will be recommending as an emergency hire. Very hard to find people at this time of the year. So I am going to be recommending Tina Marie Waller. We'd like to move Ms. Purcell to work with one of our students one-on-one because she has an outstanding relationship with the student. Tina is a graduate of DeVry University with an associate's degree in health information technology. She's worked at quite a few schools, Thornwood High School from 2014 to 2017 as an administrative assistant, and the RTI MTSS district coordinator. She was also an administrative assistant to the director of athletics, and she's worked as a secretary, working on attendance. And so in that role in in-school suspension center, we need a person that has a good rapport with children, a person that has strong technology skills, but also a person coming into a school system that has to know all hands are on deck. As a superintendent, if a student's diaper needs to be changed, I change the diaper. As a superintendent, if there's paper on the floor and Clyde is not around, I'm gonna pick the paper up. So in a small district, you need people that have the experience and full transparency. Tina is my second cousin. Sandridge does not have a nepotism policy. The starting salary is actually $35,000, and it's a 10-month position, and the employee is offered benefits. It's not 14 sick days. Those days would be prorated because we are now 1 quarter into the school year, so you lose, you get like 1.2 days per year. And so those are the 2 resignations, and that is my 1 emergency appointment. In-school suspension center.
And so the nurse that quit yesterday.
Roosevelt, can you mute the audience on Zoom?
The nurse.
I can hear people laughing and coughing. I'm sorry. No, we have posted for the nurse.
Posted,
Mr. Hook and
okay.
I are looking
Okay.
for a nurse, and for the paraprofessional, I have a paraprofessional that I'm going to reassign to work with the student, and she has a very good relationship with the student and the family. And then temporarily, until I can find someone, I'd
Gotcha.
like to recommend
Okay.
Tina
Yeah.
temporarily
Yeah, I
because
understand.
we need some help around here
Understood.
right now.
Got it.
Any questions? Okay, that concludes the personnel report.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn from the committee of the whole?
I move to return from the committee of the whole.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.